great attempt to, make a good hot hatch, I would say. I think there was a little bit of a stream with a lot of dirt. The power delivery is quite nice.
This is the Altroz Racer. Now we've already driven it, so I'll dive straight into the matter. We know it is fast, but is it faster than the other turbo-petrol rivals? To find out, we have with us the Hyundai i20 N-Line, the go-to hot, warm hatch in this segment. And we have the other rival, the Fronx, with the 1-litre turbo-petrol engine that was formerly in the Baleno RS. Now to test these out, we are going to be putting them on hot laps at the racetrack. And to help us with that, we have with us an actual racer. The Altroz Racer is more than your regular Altroz. On the outside, it looks more sporty. It's got the black bonnet, the black roof, and similarly on the inside, it's got this orange accenting, it's got the better infotainment, the digital cluster. So definitely this is a step up. And out on the track, ventilated seats, it works really well. But the real magic is in the stuff that you cannot see. Under the hood is the updated 1.2-litre turbo-petrol engine, which has been taken from the Nexon. It puts out 118 bhp, 170 Newton meters of torque, and it lets you really send it round the track. The Altroz was always a great handler. The Alpha architecture, it had got the fundamentals right. And now with this upgraded engine, it clearly has the power to really push the chassis to its absolute limits. It puts a smile on your face. And it's got a manual gearbox. Save the manual. Now, before we go further, I must talk about where we are. We are at the CoASTT racetrack in Coimbatore, India's newest racetrack. 3.8 kilometers long. Obviously, a lot of work is still remaining, but the track is ready and it is fast, flowing and challenging. And obviously, it'll have to be all of that because the man who has designed the track, one of the men behind this racetrack, is the world's fastest Indian. Narain, thank you for having us at CoASTT and thank you for being part of this story.
Thank you, Sirish.
I'm really looking forward to spending time sitting shotgun with you in all these cars. But first, I want to ask you about the Altroz Racer. What do you think about this whole hot hatch, warm hatch genre in the country?
Hot hatches were not easily accessible. It is so accessible to customers right now. They can have a lot of fun. Performance, but driving part of it, is the essence of the Altroz Racer.
So let's go full send.
Full send it is.
First up, we have the Altroz Racer, and with a name like that, it better win this comparison test. It certainly looks the part, though racing stripes are only going to get you that far. In the real world, you need a more powerful engine, and that's what the Altroz Turbo gets. It now pushes out 118 bhp and 170 Newton meters of torque from the 1.2-litre turbo petrol engine. And to really push it to its limits, we have the Indian Racer.
The conditions are pretty mixed, as you know. It's rained quite
Yes.
heavily. The track is very slick because it's new. It's a new tarmac, and you have all these oils coming out. So you have a lot of these snaps and so on. And this is not an easy track because every lap I feel the level of grip is moving from place to place as it gets wetter or drier.
So Narain, first impressions?
Yeah, the steering and the seems to be tuned really well.
Start.
The gear shifts are a bit notchy, but of course Tata has been trying to be dynamically far superior than the other cars. So I feel, it's quite tight. Feels quite planted actually. The Altroz platform has been, handling. There's no, not so much of a, problem in terms of it's a front wheel drive. Still handles quite flat and
What do you think of the body roll?
it is quite, seems to be quite controlled. But having said that, I think the lot of feel from the steering as well, quite direct. So a little bit, compared to the i20, the feeling, the feel of the steering wheel is quite.
It gives you a sense of sportiness.
Yes, it's a great attempt to make a good hot hatch, I would say.
And this is a segment that has been kind of lacking. Not too many players in this segment.
You had the Suzuki, the Baleno Turbo RS,
Yes.
and then all these, the high-powered so-called turbocharged hatchbacks really didn't, do much. But hopefully, they've got this thing right, and customers will try to enjoy the extra power and the sportiness and all the extra bits, right, on the car, the ventilated seats and voice command. For this segment of vehicle, it's
On the limit, how does it feel? Is it predictable?
a lot of electronic aids kicking in when the car starts to slide. You don't have to be a genius on the wheel, but it still allows you to have a certain amount of fun. The calibration seems to be quite impressive. Overall, I'm really enjoying the car, and I hope this, one of many hot hatches from various manufacturers, because people like the culture in Europe, with the GTIs and everything. I hope India's a large market, so
we got off lap time. 2 minutes 21.74.
okay.
The i20 N-Line gets bang identical power figures to the Altroz Turbo, but it also has 2 Nm more. Though on the downside, this engine is slightly smaller than the Altroz Turbo, 1 litre to 1.2 litres. Can the fact that this is a TGDI engine make up for the lack of capacity?
So we are on the start-finish line, approaching turn 1.
And the clock starts.
We're doing about 130 on the.
What do you think of the brakes of the i20 N-Line?
I think quite easy to modulate, quite nice. It has a proper, nice feel to it as well. So just the track seems to be quite, slippy. So.
And we have a bit of standing water also.
Yeah, you have a bit of standing water. Now we are through the nice fast section. From turn 2 to 5, it's practically flat. And this is a blind apex. You can't, the corner keeps going turn 6 and you need to put a lot of lock and because of the wet conditions, you have a lot of standing water here.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but you see, you had a big twitch, but. I think there was a little bit of a stream with a lot of dirt. So this is the double left. Of course, very low grip, and you can see the car steps out quite easily.
What do you think of the engine?
I think it's quite linear. Of course, I don't think they've done much compared to the standard i20. So, of course, as you can see, it's packaged really well, and the quality of material, the feel of the steering. It's a good car for sure. No two ways about it.
And the chassis?
Chassis a little bit soft, but compared to the original, I think the i20, the standard i20, they possibly reduce the ride height a little bit.
And that's lap 2 minutes 23.
Okay.
Now I know what you're thinking. What is the Fronx doing out here? But look past the identity crisis that this car is having, and this is the Baleno with the RS's booster jet engine. And now with the Swift's engine being watered down, this is the most fun car that you can buy from the Maruti Suzuki stables. So is this what you would call more playful, more snappy?
Yeah, you can see. It's a little bit snappier. Just the steering feel is very, very light. You don't feel much of the feels disconnected. The weightage could have, they could have worked on it a little better. But I feel the power delivery is quite nice. Overall, it seems to be just that little bit, I think the car's a little bit taller, so you feel a lot more roll than the Altroz Racer and the i20.
But this is the lightest amongst all the cars here. It also feels the lightest?
Yes, yeah. It does feel, lighter in all, many ways, but...
And do you like it? Do you like the feeling of lightness?
It depends, yeah. For everyday drive, maybe, it's okay, but it's just that the brakes are a little bit, not progressive.
The clock starts.
And you can see how soft it is. It kind of wallows a lot, but I suppose it's tuned, of course, for the roads here and for the plush ride. But on the racetrack, you feel quite a lot of lean angle, yeah. See, you can feel a lot of the braking system going a little, over the top. So see, it's a lot of safety built into it. See, there's so much lock. And the dynamics of this car maybe not the greatest, to be honest. Having said that, I think this is the tallest of the cars.
Yeah.
And you feel a lot of lightness as well. And yeah, too much. It's the understeers hell of a lot. It plows, the front just plows, and you get a lot of push.
What do you think of the engine?
The engine is quite, the power delivery and as well as it's light, right? So it kind of, pulls through the gears. But the gearing also is very spacious in between. It's very tall. Well, all these cars are so close to each other. Of course, the understeer just, So tires will make a huge difference, right? It completely changes the dynamics of the car. And as you said, these tires seem to be quite narrow, but this is what the OE supplies. So it's a lot more bouncier.
It doesn't settle quickly.
Correct. It doesn't settle. You have these, these.
The secondary and the motions, yes.
Correct. It goes to the bump stops But because it's light, it just pulls through everything.
And you can take your liberties with it.
Yeah.
And that's the lap. 2 minutes 22. So consistent lap times.
Yeah.
The lap times were done by track officials with verification and certification done by the adjudicator from the India Book of Records, who then handed over the certificate for the fastest hatchback at the CoASTT racetrack to the Tata Altroz Racer, driven by Narain Karthikeyan. So Narain, closing remarks. The Altroz Racer was the fastest on the track. Did you expect it?
I was pleasantly surprised. Did not honestly expect it, but it went and did the job, and it was the fastest of the lineup.
Your thoughts on the engine and transmission of the Racer?
The Altroz Racer gets an upgraded engine, 118 horse bhp and lot more torque. So fun to drive for sure. It kind of, you feel the step up between the Turbo Altroz and the Altroz Racer.
Pulls hard out of corners?
Pulls hard and quite linear as well. So yeah, I think people who drive it will see a major difference in terms of performance.
The transmission?
Transmission, yes, it's the ratios is quite closely packed, which is fun as always. Doesn't have too much of a gap in between. But it's slightly notchy on the gear shift, but on the racetrack it seemed to be working quite fine.
And the chassis ultimately?
Of course, the chassis is a big part of the car. Small upgrades, small tweaks have made a huge difference. For example, the tuning of the steering wheel, more direct, you feel connected. Again, I think there are small differences in the way the suspension is set up. So that makes it, give it that little bit of that sporty feel.
So let's move on to the i20 N line. What did you think of the overall package?
Well, of course, the i20. This is a standard car with a aesthetically
a cool kit.
A cool kit. Go faster kind of kit. So honestly, they should have also, like the Tata Altroz Racer, maybe done a slight upgrade to the engine. It would have been a much better package. But I believe the ride height is slightly lower. Makes a funny noise, so
it's a good sporty noise, is it not?
Yeah, it depends. But a lot of I mean, you can't go wrong with the Hyundai qualities, but solidly built, and the steering and the other feel may not be as direct as the Altroz Racer, but nevertheless it's a great package.
And of course it's got a DCT transmission also.
Of course it has a DCT transmission, but it's I must say it's not one of these sluggish ones. It seems to be quite good on the upshift, and I didn't get many denied downshifts either on the racetrack.
Yeah, and the Fronx Turbo, now this is a car that you actually had to work a lot, but when you worked hard, it gave you a lot of reward, did it not?
Yeah, definitely. It has a lot of hesitation when it comes to the racetrack, not suited for the racetrack, but it is the lightest of the lineup, so it has the engine feels much more livelier than what it should be, and it kind of, I think that masks a lot of things. The conditions were damp, so the car was pretty loose as you saw it. But it has this SUV stance, and again, Maruti, as always, they do a great package.